Okay, I was just about to harvest some broccoli and I thought I would do a quick walk through the garden the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to walk through real quick, show you guys what's growing. And no editing on this video or anything like that. My sugar snap peas are doing quite well. They are starting to grow up the trellis here. And then I have some Chinese cabbage that's doing great there. Kale is doing wonderfully. And I'll show you a quick comparison. This box compared to this box, quite a difference. I put the kale and the Chinese cabbage in both boxes right around the same time, and look how tiny this cabbage is and how tiny that kale is compared to that one. And I think it's because I added something to this box that I didn't add to that one, and it was called Nature's Helper soil conditioner. I think I got it at either Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that, and I think it made the soil too acidic. So nothing's doing very well in this box. Now, I did replant some Royal Burgundy green beans. This is bush bean here. And I lost the first batch I had to a frost, so I had to pull those out. And I also replanted some over there, which I lost to a frost. This is the feverfew, and it is just getting bigger and bigger every day. I can't even imagine how big this would be if I had left it at full size. This is half of the plant, so it is taking over this side of the garden. And then this is the broccoli I'm about to harvest. You'll notice that it's starting to separate a little bit there. And if I can get any closer here, the ends are starting to be about the size of the end of matchsticks. And that's always what I use to try to determine when to harvest it. And so I have some side shoots coming out down here. And so I'm going to go ahead and take off the main part there in the middle of about 3 or 4 heads of them here. And I have 2 little sugar snap peas going up the trellis here. I had planted many in here, but only about 4 or 5 are coming up. Maybe the birds got those. And then today I worked really hard, and I popped in the garden some tomato plants and a lemongrass right in the middle. There are 2 Uncle Mark Bagbies here at the end. That's a lemongrass there in the middle. Some more broccoli over here. You'll notice that I have a little bit of slug damage over here, not much. Right there, some slug damage. And then I have the rosemary right here in the middle. This is the ARP rosemary. It's doing really nice compared to this over here, which is the Salem. You'll notice it's browning and yellowing, and it didn't really hold up too well to the frost, and it's just not thriving very well. This is my little herb garden, the Greek oregano. I'm ready to cut that back and dry and dehydrate some Greek oregano and bottle that up. It's just beautiful. I'm so impressed how this is turning out my second year. French tarragon's not doing a thing. It's just hanging in there. There's a lot of calendula here because I had a calendula plant here last year and it has reseeded. So I'm getting all kinds of plants up from that this year. I feel kind of silly because I actually made some little plants and I've been putting them out in the garden. And so calendula, let it be known, that's something that easily reseeds itself, so you don't need to grow that again after you put it in the first year if you let it go to seed. The lemon verbena, I almost lost that in the frost, but it's popping back. It's got some new growth on it. It's kind of dark this afternoon, but maybe you can see there's some new growth popping out on the sides there, the tiny leaves. Sunflower, volunteer plant there, coming straight up. My flax is right back there. I moved it today because I really kind of wanted to put it over here because I think that will reseed also. So I'm going to kind of make this a perennial kind of permaculture garden. Hopefully at sometime I won't have to do anything to this garden and it can just reseed itself every year. That would be ideal. Back here I'm putting some weed block down because the weeds just keep encroaching in on my beds. So I'm going to mulch this real good back here probably tomorrow to keep the weeds out of these beds back here. Put in another lemongrass here. There's a volunteer cilantro plant. 1 garlic here. And put in a lot of broccoli. A lot more broccoli here. This is what I grew from seed. The other ones I had purchased as a transplant from the store. Shallots here, they are all bolting and going to seed. So I'm hoping that that's doing okay. I don't recall that my shallots bolting in Florida before I harvested them, before I harvested the shallots. But it's been quite some time. Maybe they did. I don't really remember. But anyway, there's some more garlic right there. I put in a tomato plant today. That's, I think, an Italian tomato plant. And then this right here is a kale plant. And it was not doing well. It was over there, and it was from last year. So I just popped it in the ground over here, and it wilted down. I thought, well, for sure it's going to die. It didn't. It rooted down, and then it's going to seed. So that's a dwarf blue kale. So I couldn't throw it away because it was alive, but it wasn't doing well. So anyway, that one went over here, and there was one right there that also went over here. Some sugar snap peas, and I put another beefsteak tomato plant in the ground over here. The kale over there is doing great. Put in a jalapeno pepper there. This is a nice big calendula plant. That one was, I think that one reseeded itself as well. Sunflower that reseeded itself. Dinosaur kale, which has been munched on by slugs. I'm sure that's what that is, because the slugs are getting out pretty good in the garden right now, especially over here. They have just been eating up this broccoli. So I put some slug bait on the top of the soil and everything, and it seems to have the problem under control. Some stevia. I finally found a stevia plant. I grew that in Florida, and it really attracted the bees to the garden, and I just loved it. So I put it over here in the center of my garden to bring the bees inside the garden instead of on the outside of my garden. The fever should bring in a lot of bees too, if I leave it in my garden. I don't know. It's just taken over there, so I don't know. I hate to move it out. It's doing so great, but we'll see. More calendula that reseeded itself, and some lemongrass right in the middle of the kale. That's from my last video. And then this was one of the tomato plants that I think I showed in my last garden walkthrough. And I lost it to the frost. As you can see there at the very end, all my leaves died on it, and then out from the bottom, lo and behold, popped some new growth. So it is bouncing right back. And so I had 2 tomato plants over here, and the other one bounced back as well. And let's see, where did I put that? It's over there. That's a beefsteak. And you'll see the top, all the leaves and foliage died on it, and then out from the bottom popped some new growth. So I moved him over there, and then there was another tomato plant here that did die from the frost, and it did not pop back new growth. So I forgot what kind it was, but I did just go ahead and remove that from the garden completely. This is a Hungarian heart. That was not one that I grew from seed. That's one I picked up at the nursery, and so it is doing really nice. Some more lemongrass right there. And then on the side of these poles, I'm going to plant some field peas here very soon. That's something that's a very hardy plant, requires very little nitrogen and water, and is a really nice producer. All my peas did that. The silver skin, Mississippi silver skin, the purple hull peas, all those little crowder type peas that just grow right up over this little trellis here. And then this is my little boy's garden, and I planted some broccoli here on the outside of it from seed. Those are some I grew from seed. And then I snuck in those little snow peas there the other day. And it wasn't intentional. I didn't really want to put them in there to make him feel good or anything. It's just that I ran out of room over here for my sugar snap peas. So I thought, well, I'll stick a few over there in his square. And of course, it made him happy. So it was a win-win situation for both of us. And let's see, over here is I just put some onions in today, and the tomato plant over here, and some napa cabbage, which I love napa cabbage, and it's in season right now. I've been making some wonderful napa cabbage salads, and I want to try to post a video on one here soon, if I can get around to it. Here's some more napa cabbage over here, and you know, some slugs have been on it. I found the slugs and I got them off of there, so hopefully the center part, which is the part I like to eat, will be slug free. We'll see. I need to go ahead and put some more slug bait out here because we had a hard rain, and I like to put it out after a hard rain. Some more kale and borage there, and some broccoli right there. I'll put in another Uncle Mark Bagby tomato plant there, And I'm about out of time. Thanks for watching.